It was always little things, a new dress bought, a little leftover something from the night before, reserved for Mala instead of Mrs. Tiwari. A TV channel changed for the little one's entertainment. But these incidents would linger in the grandmother's mind. It's not argument, Nani, it's argument. Mala, now a class 3 student, laughed while doing her homework one day. Say that again, argument. Mala mocked her Nani as she could not speak proper English. She laughed because Nani couldn't get her pronunciations right, and she laughed at her bookish usage of the language. All right, Angrez, Nani hissed, cut to the quick. You go to a modern school where they teach you everything, don't you? Had I ever received that opportunity, I'd be speaking better English than you. I was born in the pre-independence days when most women didn't even receive an education. Had it not been for my father, I would have simply wasted away in some corner. He educated me at home, taught me English, gave me classics to read. Mala tittered at the mention of classics. Wipe that ludicrous grin off your face, you little brat, or I'll break your legs. Later, guilt-ridden, Mala located an ancient copy of Dickens's A Tale of Two Cities in her library. She climbed on the wooden stool and carefully pulled it out of the shelf with her clean little hands. She blew the dust cloaking the cloth cover. Then she leisurely turned over the yellowing pages. Some of the printed words had fallen prey to starving insects. The sweet-smelling book held a strange appeal for the girl. The golden title embossed on its cover danced in the sunlight. Mala took it to the librarian and got it issued in her name for her grandmother's reading pleasure. Thrilled with her achievement, she carried it to her Nani after school and handed it to her. That's for you, Nani, she chirped. Nani replied, running her fingers over the imprinted golden letters. The letters gleamed like her eyes. Thank you, dear. Read it. I have to return it to the library in 2 weeks. I'm sure you'll finish it by then, Mala continued, pleased at her effort. 2 weeks passed faster than the first day of the new year, and Mala was back, asking for the library book. What book? I returned it to you last week, Mala. I don't have it with me anymore. Mala was confused. No, Nani, I'm sure you didn't give it to me. You must have given it to someone else. Now, why would I do that? Nani fiddled with her walking stick, nonchalant. Nani, please, don't tease me. Mala's heart rate was accelerating every second. I need to return it to the library or the teacher will punish me. Come on, Mala, haven't I told you I returned it to you last week? What can I do if you're not careful with your things? She stood up, walked over to the mantelpiece and began to wipe the dust off a wooden doll. Mala was about to cry. She walked up to her mother tentatively. Ma, Nani didn't return the book to me, I swear. Shh, Mrs. Dwivedi chided. You shouldn't swear, Mala. Ma, please do something. Oh, all right, I'll ask her. But if she says she's given the book back to you, she must have, Mala. Really, you ought to be more careful. Mrs. Dwivedi called out to her mother and placed the question before her once again. Why does she ask me the same question again and again? Mrs. Tiwari responded. Haven't I said I've given it back? Am I a liar? No, Amma, it's all right. Don't get upset. Turning to Mala, she said, you will just have to be brave and tell the teacher the truth, Mala. The truth? Mala's voice was a soft, small squeak. That you've lost the book, her mother casually replied. Honestly, that's what has happened, isn't it? Just tell her that and I'm sure everything will be okay. That afternoon, Mala knelt on the floor outside the library in full public view, wondering what kind of people committed murders. How couldn't one with a Nani like that? And then later on in the same story, the exams had now begun in earnest. Mala was regularly burning the midnight oil and burning it almost until dawn. On the morning of her math exam, as the clock struck 4, once again, she was woken up by the most exasperating clamour from the transistor in the dining room. It was impossible to barricade the flow of lava from the bubbling bowels of a volcano, and this morning there was no stopping Mala. In 5 minutes, she was out of bed and back inside the sheets, and absolute silence followed. As the seconds hand of the clock rapidly strutted across the dial, confused by the sudden hush, her Nani turned up in the dining room. Her heart didn't just miss a beat. It stopped altogether when she realized that her precious transistor was gone. Therefore, at 4 o'clock that morning, the Dwivedi household woke up to pandemonium. Mrs. Tiwari's wailing brought out the harried occupants of the house into the dining room immediately. Some wondered whether Nanu had suddenly had a relapse again, but Nanu himself arrived nonplussed. Once she had everybody's attention, Nani began to beat her chest and wail. "Oh, my transistor, that little scoundrel has robbed it, I know. She couldn't stand me listening to the melodious bhajans in the morning." "Who? What? What are you talking about, Amma?" Mr. Dwivedi was certainly not pleased. "Why, Mala, that spoiled rotten daughter of yours. She threatened me, that little rascal, and now she's done it." Mrs. Tiwari poured out her woes once more, adding even her own seasoning to the tale. As she finished, she detected Mala's tall frame standing like an alabaster statue at the door, listening quietly. There she is, that impudent devil. All curious eyes turned in her direction. Mala continued to stand in her place, her breathing deep and regular. "Now what is this, Mala?" her pained father asked her. "What is this I hear?" Mala sighed, but chose to maintain perfect silence. "Did you remove Nani's transistor?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because I had no option." "Return it to her, Mala," Mr. Dwivedi ordered. Silence. "Did you hear me, Mala?" "I'm sorry, but I will not." More silence. "Look, see for yourself," Nani pounced upon Mr. Dwivedi triumphantly. "Such an impertinent brat. Yes, she can speak to her grandmother like that. But now, what will you do now, Daddy? See how your daughter talks. That's what your modern education has brought." "Mala, return the transistor to your Nani right now and apologize to her," Mr. Dwivedi repeated in an assertive voice. Mala met her father's stare with unblinking, unapologetic eyes. "I will not return the transistor. I will not apologize to her either. I am not sorry." Mala coolly held his gaze, her crystal eyes ablaze with wrath and challenge. The systemic hatred had slowly resurfaced, and he could sense some impending danger. He looked away and, without saying another word, walked out of the room, followed by a flummoxed mother-in-law. "Hey, wait, how can you just walk away? Aren't you going to punish her? Has your love for your daughter made you so blind?" Mr. Tiwari spat after him. But Mr. Dwivedi was gone. His wife followed suit, and so did her own valedictorian husband. 3 years ago, she wouldn't have expected that girl to be capable of such a brazen act. But when she looked at her now, she saw another Mala, an independent woman, afraid of no one. And for the first time perhaps, she saw the face in front of her, with distinctly recognizable and rather familiar features on it, her own.